Well, folks, this is Max of Max's Models, and I'm sad to report that Andy Yanchus passed away on September the 11th. And for those who didn't know, Andy was from Brooklyn, and he worked for Aurora from about 1965 to 1975 and contracted there for a while later. He was an avid and excellent model builder and a great model historian and collector. And he, according to his own story, he actually started building models as a kid in the 1950s. It was a hobby that became an obsession and led to a full-time occupation. And the 9 years of the time he was at Aurora, he was in the research and development department of Aurora's plastic products. And he started off by designing and sculpting the patterns for many of the HO scale model motoring slot cars. And he said working there was an adventure. You never knew what would happen from day to day. In fact, one day, Joe Giamarino, also known as Mr. Aurora, walked in with two pictures of a Mangusta and asked him if he could make it. And with those two photos, he made the Mangusta slot car. And that was what it was like at Aurora. Later on, he became a project manager for the Hobby Kit line and developed such series as the Scene Machines, the Snaparoos, the prehistoric scenes, and the comic scenes. When Aurora changed hands, the new owner, Chuck Diker, took the company in a different direction, so Andy decided to move on to other things, and he turned another one of his hobbies into full-time work. He was a big comic book guy and movie guy, and he spent almost 17 years coloring comic books for Marvel, with some pretty significant runs on the X-Men, the Incredible Hulk, Alpha Flight, Doctor Who, Marvel Tales, which are reprints of earlier Spider-Man and Doctor Strange magazines, and the Marvel Universe Handbook. He even did a little work on the G.I. Joe series. He was also an avid writer about the kit modeling scene and building for fan publications and professional magazines such as Starlog, Fantasy Modeling, and Collecting Scale Models. He also produced a publication called The Runner, which was largely stories about working at Aurora. Once I was introduced to him, we started the Aurora File series on this channel, and Andy really provided almost all of the imagery and all of the information. I had the pleasure of getting to work with him and edit it together, but they're really his productions. And in 2014, he co-authored a book with Dennis Prince. If you go to his Flickr account, you'll see his business name is Star Run, which comes from his work on Starlog magazine and having made the Runner publication. Andy was an incredibly knowledgeable individual on models, and he cannot be replaced. His loss is a loss to the entire modeling community. And I want to take this opportunity to thank the powers that be that I had the opportunity, if ever so briefly, to get to work with him. It was a privilege. Andy, you will be missed.